Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to tonight's special celebration of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month. Tonight, we have an amazing lineup of guests and panelists for all of you guys to enjoy. The topic we are covering tonight is diversity in entertainment. Before we get started with just a quick introduction, my name is Moana, the founder and host of the podcast, children's author for the Adventures of Nokoa and Nohea children's book series, A Great Hawaiian Story, editor for the Wild Card Chronicles comic book series, and champion for the Indigenous and Native communities. Tonight, I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Dana.
Hello, everyone. For those that may or may not know me, I am Dana. I am a cosplay event and staff con photographer. You've seen my photography with Dragon Con, MomoCon, Anime Week in Atlanta, and with DC Comics. Also an event planner and a voice actor and a whole lot more. And we thank you all for joining us for our very first panel for the month of May. So now I'm going to hand it back over to my lovely co-host, the beautiful Moana.
Alrighty, guys. As I mentioned, tonight's topic is diversity in entertainment. We often talk about diversity for diversity's sake when it comes to mainstream entertainment. And while it's important to have characters and roles that reflect our community, it is just as important to have diverse and authentic perspectives from creators who center the storytelling on the BIPOC experience. So tonight we are honored to host this wonderful panel with a group of creators who are bravely breaking barriers and pioneering new spaces and opportunities for our stories to be told in film, comics, television, maker spaces, and so much more. We are joined by our guest moderator, Jabbar Lastly King, and our panelists, Lee Shorten, Nuri McAdams, Kuya P, Mog Park, Micah Khan, and Viet Hung. Let's bring them all on. Aloha, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Goodness. I listened to your intros. I was like, I'm not doing enough with my life. I need to do more.
No, you guys are doing it all, and we are so grateful to have you with us tonight. We'll let Jabbar take it from here on out. Thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody. I am Jabbar Lastly, or Bar Fox, for those that know me from the cosplay world. I am a television and film producer. I have a lot of shows on that I produced and that I worked on. And I also did my own documentary for cosplay, which is called Cosplay Your Way in Color. So I've been busy working on everything from Genius Aretha to back in the day, I did Ricky Smiley for Real and some other stuff. But I cannot wait to talk to you all and listen to your stories. So let's start with introducing everyone and figuring out what you do and how you contribute to the industry. So I would like to start with Mog. Mog?
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Mog. I'm an illustrator, and I work in many different fields like publishing company, commercials, just you name it, game company. That's it. Nice for inviting me.
All right, thank you, Mog. And then next is Via.
Oh, hey everybody! My name is Viet Nguyen. I haven't done comedy in in over a year, doing stand up because of COVID and everything. But yeah, normally I make custom action figures and I make custom toys, and I stream that on Twitch. And I do a lot of stuff for indie comic creators. I make Funko Pops of their own creations where they put on as Kickstarter rewards. And then I also do a podcast about Avengers and X-Men called Earth's Mightiest Podcast.
Oh, that sounds fun. All right, Kuya P.
Hey, yo, Kuyapi, aka Patrick Michael Strange. Man, I do everything, a lot of everything, because I just have so much in me to just give. So I'm honored to be here with all of y'all. I started off, I guess, as an actor way back in the day. I'm an old head. In Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, I was a monk. And so being a monk then got me the acting bug in that, to then just everywhere from there. Got into comic art. Later on, started writing and publishing comics. Through that, some of the properties that I created got picked up. So then I jumped back into the film world and have been doing a lot of everything on both sides. Started a charity because I met so many cosplayers called Cos Love, because I believe in our representation, and which is why I'm here on this panel today. I joined up with the Nerds of Color, who I love contributing with them and producing a lot of content there. And most recently, due to this pandemic, wanting to give back to my Filipino culture, started a new show called Show Pal Show, where I just rep Filipinx in all various fields of industry, because we've been in the game a long time. So yeah, that's me, and I'm honored to be here amongst all y'all great talent tonight, and I look forward to chatting with y'all.
Awesome. Lee?
Hey everyone, I'm Lee Shorten. Mainly, I'm an actor. You might know me from, I feel like Trent McCall from The Simpsons, but you might know me from Man in the High Castle or The Terror Infamy. And I write a little and direct a little as well. And yeah, like just want to echo everyone's sentiments. Super stoked to be here and can't wait to chat with y'all.
Sounds good. And Nuri?
How you doing? I'm Nuri McAdams, owner of Burning Spear Comics, creator and author of the Wildcard Chronicles comic book series, Motorcycle Club president, arms dealer by night, mechanic by day.
Okay, that's a lot going on. And Micah?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my gosh, I was having so many problems. Everything crashed on me for a second. Hi, I'm assuming this is an introduction. I missed everything because I couldn't hear anything.
Oh yes, just introduce yourself.
I'm Micah. I'm a filmmaker based in New York. I direct no-budget short films, write features, and doing the damn thing. Right now, I'm collaborating with Movie Maker Magazine and interviewing directors and anyone in the film industry on the craft of movie making. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, that sounds good. Okay, so we have everything covered almost on this panel, so I'm so excited about that. So what I want to ask first, for anyone that want to jump in, you know, we didn't see a lot of ourselves in entertainment. We didn't see a lot of ourselves at the forefront, or we didn't get a lot of face time. So what motivated any of you and all of you to get into the industry where you didn't necessarily see a reflection of yourself, or did you see someone that motivated you and inspired you and you wanted to be like that person?
For me, that simple fact that we weren't being represented. As a young kid, I gravitated towards, as you can see behind me, Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? He was, young cat, had great power, great responsibility, but, was just always just being picked on. And so I saw myself in that. And then from Spider-Man, that brought me to the Uncanny X-Men with John Byrne and Chris Claremont, and the amazing diverse cast at the time that they were the creators on that book, where we had Colossus from Russia, we had Sunfire out of Japan, Storm out of Africa. That's where I'm like, okay, finally some diversity. Right. But then, because when I looked at the creators, seeing that they were white, I didn't have high hope that we would always get that representation, because we weren't there behind the scenes. And so it was through that education and not seeing it happen, and then just to know that, you know what, I'm gonna have to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a self-starter, and so that motivation led me later on to just create the damn thing. They ain't gonna give it to us, so we got to take it. We got to make it happen, and that's what led to a multitude of the various genres that I'm into, to just create that platform, and to encourage people within that platform, in case I don't do it. Plus, to each one teach one. It has always been like a thing with me. So yeah, they ain't gonna give it to you. You got to take it and make it happen. So that's it for me.
I like that. Anyone else have some thoughts on this topic or this question?
I mean, Spider-Man's a pretty good example of like where I started too. I mean, I loved the animated show, and I mean, cartoons were big for me growing up. I mean, Samurai Jack is my favorite TV show of all time. I even have Aku tattooed on my arm. I don't know if you guys are Samurai Jack fans at all. I was a little luckier just because I was really into Bollywood movies growing up too, so I kind of had an idea of what it looked like to have someone like me on screen, and didn't realize that nobody liked Bollywood movies outside of America until I was much older. Yeah, it's weird, man. And, like, the only people we have are like where I'm at is M. Night Shyamalan, really, and that's what I'm probably get compared to all the time.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a good comparison. Hope you can do as well as he has. So, when you broke into your prospective industries, did you feel like you were met with opposition, or did you feel like the fact that they were bringing on some diversity was welcome? And were you one of the first and only ones of your culture there, or did you join a team of other people that were already there, and then it was already diverse when you got in there? Let's start with you, Viet, because a comedian, that's a lot. You have a lot going on. So how did you break through?
I mean, I'll be honest. I did get to use the race card a lot of times, just sort of to diversify the lineup, the comedy lineup all the time. They're just like, oh, there's too many white people on this show, or there's too many black people on this comedy show, and like they'll get, I'll get booked on there just for the sake of that. But yeah, I guess when I first started in like the early 2000s. And I was following like a lot of those the Asian media blogs, like Angry Asian Man, was it You Offend Me, You Offend My Family, like one of those, Discrasion, all those, and I felt like, like so like, and I lived in the Atlanta, lived in the South all my life. I was like, someone needed to hear about the Asian perspective, sort of, and then so a lot of my material was kind of like complaining about that kind of stuff, like this is like I just like I'm not gonna do my bits because that's weird, but like but I would like, but they were like just like Hot Pocket commercials with just like some kung fu dude with the Fu Manchu and all that stuff. You're just like, really, like like what are we doing, right? Just like you're just using Asian people for nothing, like or just like the stereotype Asian for like to hawk some pepperoni and cheese Hot Pockets. It just doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, that happens a lot. We get brought in and you are excited because you are breaking through and hoping to represent for your culture and for your race, and then you kind of get put in some typecast situations and scenarios, especially those of you, the comedian, and Lee, I'm sure you can speak on this. So share some of your stories on when you audition, are you getting the leading roles or getting the audition for leading roles? Because you're handsome, you should probably be in the front. But when you get on the set, when you go talk to the casting agents, what are you hearing back about you and your presence?
I mean, like it's a little bit different now than it was when I started, and I only started like 6-7 years ago. So I can't even imagine what it was like, for the Joel De La Fuentes and Carey's who even came before me. It was probably even worse, right? Or for Kuya. And it was funny when I first started. It was very like it was on the cusp of this change, but it was kind of funny because you'd have an open ethnicity breakdown and you'd show up and there's like all white guys, one black guy, one Latino guy, and then like me. And it's like, well, obviously you're going to cast the white guy. And, so there was a lot of that. And I got to say, casting directors tend to be pretty good. They tend to try to champion you, and it's more like at the production end where you tend to get shut down because so many times you'll get pinned for a role and you know it's like, because the community is pretty small, you know, it's like me and some white guy, and it's like, oh, it's definitely going to the white guy, and it does go to the white guy. We're at a better place now, obviously, thanks to a lot of things like Crazy Rich Asians and you know, Warrior and a lot of these shows. But it's almost like now, to be honest, it's still it's kind of like in a better place, but a weird place, because yeah, there's a lot more Asian male roles, for example, but now they're all like, he's sexy and has abs and is shirtless all the time. Like, okay, cool, but like that's another box, you know? And you know, for Asian women, it's probably the same, if not worse. They're still kind of really tokenized and fetishized and don't have lines, and it's so there's more of us, and we've like moved up the rung, but now we're at like another plateau. So
it's a ceiling to break through a lot of the times. Nora, you get to see a lot. I mean, you're looking at all these genres and medias, and what are your thoughts on one? What has happened recently to help elevate people of color and open the door for them, in your opinion? And then two, what are some of the things that you think we should still fight for, or we should still rally for, or what does the industry still need to hear so we can keep progressing, so we don't get stuck in the new box? You know, it's nice that, like Lee said, you're getting the roles, but now you're in another box. You have to look this way. So I know that was a long question, so hopefully you got some of it.
Yeah, I'll try my best to answer. It seems with the situation with George Floyd and things with Asians, Blacks and Asians seem to be the flavor of the month now. We like to celebrate what I like to call false flag victories. You know, like, okay, so the guy got convicted. He's convicted. Now he wants a new trial because he feels the old trial was tainted. What we have to do, we can't sit back and expect them to do anything for us, because they're not. They're not going to do anything for us. It's not in their benefit to do anything for us. When you're already sitting on top of the mountain, you don't have to worry about helping anybody else. Power is exclusive, not inclusive. So, you know, just like Patrick said, you want it, you got to go take it from them. So I've always had that mentality. I see the things going on in the media, but it doesn't shake me. Even when COVID hit, I came out stronger through COVID and stronger now than I was before COVID. My businesses have thrived. I believe we can control our own destinies. We don't have to make Superman black. I know that's the thing they're trying to do now. We want to make Superman black. Why? You know, let them have their Superman. Let them have that if that's what they want. Michael B. Jordan said it best, because when they asked him that question recently, yeah, they got you pinned. You might be the black Superman. He's like, well, that's great. And I thank people for thinking of me in that light. But there's so many IPs out here, indie IPs, that don't get any shine. What about them? When he said that, I was like, finally, somebody gets it. You know, I don't want you to give it to me. Let's make this black. Let's make this girl gay. It's like everybody's trying to check off a social justice warrior box when they create media, and I don't understand that. I mean, there have been strong, like for instance, I like when a story naturally flows to where I can enjoy the plot and things happen, you know, not like it's forced. I can't stand it. I'll tell you, I just watched something recently, and man, I was blown away because it's delivery, it's writing. People may not agree, but I just finished watching The Invincibles, and I was like, whew, I almost lost. I was like, this is good. The presentation, the writing, you know, like I said, I don't want to give anything away, but it was really good without forcing it down our throat. I give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Women are strong. We've always known this. We've had characters. Sarah Connor was strong. She didn't have to be forcibly strong. The writing made her strong. Sigourney Weaver, strong, powerful, wasn't forced. Xena, strong. See, these were strong women that weren't going out of their way to say to us, here we are, woman, hear me roar. You didn't have to. If you write it good, you write a really good story. I don't care what color they are. You write a good story, I'm gonna like it. You produce a good movie, I'm gonna like it. I don't care if it's all Asians in it. If it's good, I'm gonna like it. So I think everybody here is on the right track. You just keep on pushing forward. Nobody can stop you. Your destiny's in your own hands. So I hope that answered your question.
It did, and you open up some doors to some other stuff that I wanted to talk about as well.
Right.
Oh, Micah,
If I could, yeah. Nora brought a great point up with, checking boxes and being put into boxes is the biggest problem that I've had with the industry. Is that, I took a meeting with a producer over at HBO, and I was pitching him a genre project, and he stopped me and said, "Why don't you write something that's Muslim?" And he's like, "I can work with that," and that's not what I do. And I agree. Like, I just watched Sex Education on Netflix, and it is a very diverse show, very full of LGBTQ characters, but it's never really brought up, and it just makes it feel like a world. Like, it's not like there's no, like, I guess, hate crimes. It's like and Schitt's Creek, right? Schitt's Creek exists in a world where that hate crimes don't exist, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I like. I like that, like, you can feel it when it's forced. And I think people get the sense, and it's only really catering towards white people. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's just how I feel. It's just, I feel like a lot of people of color, LGBTQ people, can see right through it.
Well, that brings up another question that I had. Because of our race or our look or sexual orientation, do you feel like when you go into your respective fields that although you're happy to be there, that now you become the token person for that, and they try to just, as you stated, push certain things on you? You don't tell these type of stories, you're a storyteller, but because of your heritage, they want this from you, or they want you to approach it that way. Have any of you guys experienced that? If you did, tell me how you dealt with it, or did you just roll with it so you can get more momentum and tell yourself you're going to change it when you get higher on the grid? Anybody want to speak to that?
I'll add to that. I had a voiceover gig way back when I was doing my acting, and got hired to be the voice. Actually, initially, I was hired to be the photo double in this piece for the Hispanic character. And then later on got booked to be the voice of the Asian character for the photo model that was that character. Came in to do the voiceover recording. And when I was doing it, I was just talking my natural voice. And then the director was like, "Can you speak more Asian?" That messed me up. That messed me up. I'm like, what? But while I wanted to walk out of there, because I had already got the check and everything and all of that, and I was still young at the time, and I didn't feel I had power, So I tried to figure out what he wanted me to do, and I essentially kind of drew from stereotypes, which ate at my soul and slowed down the pacing of my voice. But so I did it, did the job, but swore I'll never work for them again. And that only just fueled my fire for later on with my own projects and just for future, going forward. But so that was my case. I've been there, done that. I'm sure other actors experience. I know I had a combo with Lee once on a project, and if you're gonna do something like that, because we are actors at the end of the day, instead of us being right there in the booth at that time, like you're right there, you have kind of like no choice. Give us some lead time in advance. Let us know what we're working with, and maybe we can prepare for that. So yeah, that was it for me, and that was a painful experience.
Yeah, it happens quite often, and I had to have a few talks with people because you're working behind the scenes in television and stuff. Certain shows come on, and people are like, "Why would you let that happen? Why would you let them put that in?" And I get it, but they have to understand we're in a room and we're trying to steer them away from that. We're trying to fight against that. Ultimately, so many people's hands get in the pot, it makes it to the viewers, and some of our stuff is not implemented. It's not that we're not behind the scenes rallying or fighting for stuff. It's just that, you know, we're there, but we're not heard, or we're not implementing what we're saying sometimes. Yeah, I had a situation where I was doing something, and a maybe 60-year-old white man came in to tell me what Black people are listening to when I was adding the music in. And I was like, in all due respect, I don't think you have a better take on what we're listening to better than me. I literally just left the club to come to work. So just like, you roll it back. But I was able to say that, and I was able to change it. But it's situations like that sometimes that come up, as you stated, at the spur of the moment, that you don't get any time to prepare for, and now you have a choice. Do I get the check, or I already signed this contract? I need to go through it, but it eats me up sometimes. Has anybody else had a scenario where you either played into your race too much for someone, or you just felt awkward? You did it, but it ate you up, and you just like Kuya said, you're not working with that person again. You don't have to say who it was, but did you have a situation like that, similar to that? Lee, you got to have had scenarios. I mean, in the acting world, it's rough. I want everybody to know how hard acting is. So,
I think Viet had the mic. Oh, you were gonna say something, right? Because
yeah.
Well, yeah, or I just it was just really quick. When I was first starting, I was really nervous, and so I made up this character called like Timid Asian Guy, and so I would just start off like sounding like fresh off the boat, and I would just do your mama jokes, like, and I would just go like 2 or 3 times, like, you know, like your mother is so fat, you know, like that kind of thing. And then like it would get some laughs out of it because it would just be uncomfortable and people would laugh at it and it would kill. And then I would break out of the character. I'd be like, is everybody doing good? Everybody having fun? And then I would go back into the character and it would kill. And it would just do really well. And it wasn't until like somebody came up to me after the show, just like, hey man, like you were funny as hell, man. It's like, but those your mama jokes. Those were the best thing. I was like, so the thing that I was making up that was like supposed to be like the mockery of what I was doing ended up being what you liked the most. And then I was just like, no, I can't do this anymore. I was just like, yeah, no more.
Yeah, it gets like that. And Lee, were you going to add, or did you?
Oh, I mean, like, it happens a lot, you know, and I just like so many stories, and I will just say though, it's like, and not to be like moderate guy, because I'm not really that guy either, but it is like, especially with accents or whatever, it's definitely like a case by case, because I've got a lot of friends who are very just like generally anti-accent, which, you know, the thing is, like, I love accents, and I think in some ways accents are truthful, because like a lot of our parents have accents, and like accents are beautiful in a way. So I'm always like, honestly, if you want an accent, what is its role in the story? Because if it's about like you're playing a first generation immigrant and the accent isn't the butt of the joke, then sure, I'll do that accent, and I'll think that that's appropriate. And in some ways, that's like honoring the generation that came before. But it's when it's like, which unfortunately is like 95% of the time, when it's you know, like the butt of the joke or whatever, then it's like, that's really uncool. And what do, right? It's tough, and you're in the room and there's all these producers and you need a job and you have power. But the one thing that I found was good that someone else told me, and apologies to whoever that was because I forgot, you kind of put it back on them, like things like, oh, okay, so what like maybe say that, oh, we want like a Chinese accent. You're like, oh, cool. What region would you like? And they can't say it, right? Or you're like, right. Oh, you're just really dumb. I don't really. Sorry, could you just give me an example? If they're like, we want Asian flavor. Oh, can you just give me an example? I don't really understand that. And there's no way they're going to be like, oh, yes, sir, we want you to talk like this. Like, they'll never do that. And then you see the wheels in turning, and you see the uncomfortableness, and then they're usually like, oh, well, maybe we don't need it. then maybe we don't need that. And you're like, oh, cool. Okay, well, that's cool then. So that would be my kind of contribution to this story.
Nice. That's actually a good tool to use. I mean, I've implemented that sometimes as well. And it's wonderful to see how people are not able to articulate their biases and or go as far as they would have gone. They want you to assume that that you're going to do what they want you to do. But I love what you said. Put them on the spot. So, Mog, I am really interested in your career. I'm interested in what did it look like when you became an illustrator and you walked in the room with other illustrators? Who was there? Were you represented? Were you the first? Or were you the only woman? Like, tell me that experience and let us know what it was like for you.
Well, to give an example, since everyone's here, like somehow tied in with the commercial world, one of my major gigs I was thankfully working with was the HBO Game of Thrones, and luckily, thanks, brother. Luckily, I actually only directly communicated with the directors and the producers. I never really got to contact other artists. I know there's numerous artists out there, but I was more like I worked remotely. And the funny thing is, I think because my name is so masculine, like Mog, it's like a very unusual name. So after like several years working for them, one day I got a call from one of my producers because there was a problem with the payroll. And when I answered, he was so shocked. It's like, oh my God, I thought you were a dude the whole time. So, I mean, other than that, it was, it was fine. I mean, unlike you guys who have to use your own face and body as a tool, art, the incredible thing about art is, visual art, it's just an image. It's not about race or anything. It's about communication. It's about image. And all they ever care about is, are you telling the story through the image? Are you conveying the information correctly? And if you do that job correctly, whether you are like a female, male, or any kind of race, it doesn't matter. Like luckily in the industry that I worked in, there was not. I've never really felt. Knock on wood, like luckily I've never felt that. It was all. Sometimes I was a bit scared, like, oh, if they know that I'm a girl, or oh, if they know I'm like a minority. But you know what? It was never like that. At the end of the day, nobody knows who you are. They don't even know what name is attached to the image. But if they like the image and it resonates with you, that's a job well done. I mean, that's how the industry in my side works. So
okay, that's good because the work speaks for itself. It's rare for a lot of us that have to, like you said, be in person. And I love that you brought up the name, because my name, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but sometimes when I send stuff in, my name is so different that they automatically assign races and heritage to me and different things. Sometimes that could push me out of contention. And it has, from what I learned sometimes, but it's interesting all of the many ways we have to navigate the field to be in entertainment. So my question for all of you now is, what are you doing to push diversity separately, maybe alongside your skill set or your job, or something differently? For example, I worked for Magic Johnson, and I got the opportunity to come up with a series where I spotlighted people of color doing things that people didn't expect them to do, surfing, making chocolate, just to spotlight those things to show all the diversity. So I really enjoyed that because I wanted to spotlight something else other than sports. Although I love sports and all that stuff, I just wanted to let it be known that we can do other things and do it well. So I wanted to ask all of you, do you have a project that you're working on or something that you do on the side? I know Kalia P, you was talking about Cause Love. shout out to that. You know, I have Cosplay Your Way, so I definitely am in sync with that. So let's just start with you, Kuya, since you already told us a little bit about it.
All right, definitely, man. And I've been a fan of Cosplay Your Way for a long time, brother. So I kind of feel like I know you. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you once we can actually do conventions and shows. Would love to collaborate.
Definitely.
Definitely. Thanks, man. So as I kind of brought up earlier, like last year with the pandemic and everything, Show Pal Show was the first thing out the gate that I wanted to launch to rep for my Filipinx people, knowing how long we've been doing it in various fields of industry. I wanted to make that happen. And so far it's been amazing with the Filipinx community coming together and supporting the show and promoting all of our people. But outside of that as well, my work with the Nerds of Color. So if I may, I would love to invite all of y'all that's on this chat right now. I'd love to interview all of you guys, spotlight you guys on the Nerds of Color, because that's what the Nerds of Color is all about. It's about that POC representation within pop culture. And that's what we've been doing for years. And would love to have you all on for a chat and promote everything that y'all are doing. So that's what I'm doing. We do it daily. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop. I just came off of interviews of the Army of the Dead right before this call, repping with that amazing film and that representation. So I'm always doing it. That stays on my mind 24/7 because I have a little girl that needs to be seen and feel seen. She's half Black, half Filipino. My wife's Black, I'm Filipino, and that's what's so important to me. It's for her to see that representation, and that's what I'm gonna do daily, and that's my grind. So yeah, man, and love y'all.
I'm so inspired. Okay, yeah, I'll come on in anytime. So just let me know. All right, Viet. So are you working? Yeah, the same question.
I like I said, I make custom toys, I make custom Funko Pops and stuff like that, and I've been super fortunate. Oh, sorry, my mic got disconnected. Sorry.
We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good. So yeah, I've been working with a lot of indie comic creators, and they just happen to be creators of color. A lot of indie creators and stuff like that, and it's been really cool to work with their Kickstarters and being able to make like merchandise for their characters, right? So it's been really cool to be able to showcase that or make everybody's characters look like legit, and that's been really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I think I want one now. I just put it in the message. I want one of those.
Just let me know. I can do that.
You know, I have so many characters. I'm just gonna find one and sit.
Oh yeah. I mean, this from cosplayers to just Funko Pops of people. I've been doing that kind of thing, or I've been making action figures of people and everybody's kind of creations, and it's been really cool, like to see people's like indie creations and stuff like that come to life and like have. So
wow, that's nice. All right, Mog, are you beating your own trail? Are you taking the bull by the horn in some certain ways that you can share?
Yeah, I agree with you, Viet. I'm really a huge supporter of indie comics because I think that's where most of the real creativity is now just being pushed to, where you have real creative freedom. So this mid-May, I have several cover works I did for a couple creators, so please help them out. I'll post it on my Facebook and support them. And also I'm now working with a creator, and we're both creating a comic together. So that's super exciting for me.
Oh, nice. That is awesome. And Micah, you have like all this power as a filmmaker. Like you could rearrange things, you can influence things. So how are you using that power? How are you using your color to tell stories and your heritage? Yeah, what are you doing?
That's a difficult question for me because for most of my life, I ran away from being South Asian because post 9/11 was not nice to me. And high school was exhausting with how many people would make Ahmed the Dead Terrorist jokes at me or whatever that other puppet thing was, or South Park. I'm only now learning more about myself, if I'm being honest with you. Like this past year, I've really started to mine my experience and figure out more about me and what that means in the South Asian equation, I guess, and figure out what I like, who I am, and how my upbringing influenced me. How I use my power, I guess. I don't usually think about it, honestly. If like the diversity thing for me, like I am diverse, so my cast and my movies end up being diverse. It's like it's what I grew up looking at, like my friends were Black, Latino, and Asian growing up. That's what I'm gonna cast. that's that's the way I see it. And mostly just use that power to get in Twitter fights, honestly. Um, yeah.
That's good.
I mean, overall, I just think that right now for people, filmmakers of diversity, it is a hard time to be in the industry. I think that there are people that are just looking to use you as props, and I think right now is the best time to just step out of line and figure out your own way to do things, and let them catch up. I know it's a really hard thing to say. I know it's really difficult for people to want to step out of line because everyone has an anxiety about stepping out of line and going, "Oh, like I'm going to lose my spot." But make your own line. It's just there's a Run the Jewels line. I'm a big fan of Run the Jewels, and it's like I can't remember exactly what the line is, but it's like it's no wonder all the lines are next to a cemetery or something like that, and where all the people of color have to stand. And yeah, that's how I feel, man. I just think that if we're waiting in line the whole time, they're gonna let whoever they think should be next, and it's always not gonna be. It's gonna be people from their background. It's gonna be people of wealth that are gonna get through the door before us. Anyways, I'm a no budget filmmaker. I'm pretty broke, but I make a lot of noise, and my films have made a lot of noise, which is really great. David Benioff, the showrunner of Game of Thrones, watched my short film and loved it, and Ben Stiller tweeted it, and it just a lot of great things happened, just because I'm loud, and I want to be loud, and I want to be loud for everybody. And what I'm doing for Movie Maker magazine right now is that I'm spotlighting people of color and women filmmakers because I want to, because that's what I want to. There's a lot of us out there, and I want them to have a platform to speak finally. I mean, it's easy to get your dime a dozen white guy in the room, they're all there. But my first interview was with Spike Lee, and that people loved it, yeah. And that literally just happened because I DM'd somebody on Twitter and I got the job because I was just like, hey, watch my short film. Maybe you want to post about it. And then he's like, I do want to watch your short film. And I want to post about it. And then we became friends. So, and now, yeah.
That's great.
It's no longer time for people of color to be quiet. It's easy to stand on the sidelines, stay in your lane, look forward, and just you get your turn when you get your turn, and I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. It's destroy the line, make your own line, make it hard for them. Make it as hard as possible for them to ignore you. That's the only way to exist right now as a person of color in the entertainment industry is my feeling. And yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm still on board with that. Nuri, things that you're doing to break the mold, to keep us progressing forward?
Well, I'm doing a lot. Let's see, where should I start? One thing is, I agree with Micah. You have to be loud. Awesome. I can't stand going to a convention. I'm like, all this stuff looks alike in here. I mean, it's like somebody gave them a playbook and I break the rule, but I throw that out. I do, and even Patrick could tell you, when I set up at a con, I'm loud. I'm very loud. My setup is huge. If I'm there, I don't care if it's Baltimore Comic Con or New York Comic Con, I'm on the main floor, set up near the Marvel stage. I'm loud because I let them know I'm knocking on your back door. I'm third generation military, Marine Corps. I take it by force. I'm standing looking at that Marvel stage, like, man, this is great. Now it seems weird, but a few years ago, I want to say it was like 2015, 2016, something like 2015. And I'm on the Marvel stage and I'm meeting Stan Lee for the first time. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at his handler, and he's signing something for me. He looks up at me, and what I give him to sign is a calendar of the females in my comic book. Okay, and he looks down and he looks up at me. He's pretty women. I'm like, yeah, and he goes to sign it. And you know what I'm thinking the whole time? I love you. You've influenced me a lot, but you got the throne, you got the title, and I want it. That's what I'm thinking, standing up there with Stan Lee. So when I do what I do and I get these big boos, I try to take as many indie comic creators as I can with me because some of them can't afford to do those things. So I'll buy out the big platforms. I got the big trusts and the Titantrons and the TVs, and I have the table space so that those that don't have the money to do can come on to our booth and do their thing and be in an area where their product can be seen. So that's pretty much what I do. I try to help as many as I can because nobody's, like Micah said, nobody's looking at us until we make noise. You know, what did Martin Luther King say? Violence is the voice of the oppressed. So
I totally agree. I'm adamant. Go ahead.
It's a scary thing too. If anybody's listening, like it's a scary thing to decide to be loud, but you got to be heard, and they're not looking at you. I promise you, they're not looking for you until you start making it hard for them to ignore you.
Absolutely agree. That is some really, really good advice. I definitely walk that walk. I try to make sure I'm in places and spaces and on panels and in conversation publicly so I can be seen and other people will potentially be inspired to chime in or, as you stated, come take my place. It's fine. Just get up there and make sure you're being heard. I mean, space for me, it's space for everybody in my head, so I'm not really a competitive person. But I love it. If I inspire you and you want to sit in that seat at New York Comic Con, because I'm lucky enough to be Bar Fox on a panel, come and take that seat as long as you are trying to elevate and inspire. I don't mind. So what is your advice, or does anybody have advice for people trying to get into our perspective fields, people trying to break the mold? I can argue a little that it's a little easier now because the world is saying, oh yeah, diversity, we love it, we want it. But what advice would you have for people trying to get into your field, and what should they avoid as they come in your opinion? So anybody want to touch on that?
Well, a lot of research. Definitely do research. If you're breaking into this field, first you got to do what you love. You going into any business venture, you have to love what you do. If you get into it for the money, it's not going to last long because as many doors as open, twice as many close before you get there. So you got to be, patient, strong, and love what you do. Don't sell yourself short. I think every year at San Diego, the thing that I hate to see the most is when I'm upstairs in that area where DC, Marvel are set up, and all these people got these IPs that they created and begging to get into Marvel or DC. You really want to give them your product? Really? You think they're going to do your product justice? They're going to take what they want out of it and throw the rest away. So I don't understand. I mean, I've seen so many talented people. Like, you really want to get it? You can do this yourself. You don't have to go give it away to them. So yeah, I think that's the thing I hate to see. And like I say, it goes back to being loud. You have to dare to be different. You have to. People, when you say when you kicking the door in, I think the best example of that, of color barriers being broken, was in the early 80s. I mean, MTV wouldn't show people of color. It just wasn't going to happen until they couldn't deny us anymore. Because one guy thrilled us, moonwalked across the stage. The other guy danced across the stage talking about a little red Corvette, and they couldn't deny us anymore. You can't, because that's what people want. So those men dared to be different, and because they did that, they're legends. Michael Jackson and Prince, in case anybody didn't know, like, what are you talking about? but that's my take on it. You got to take chances. You got to take risks. My daddy used to always say, son, people that don't take risks never go anywhere in life. So you got to take risks. Everything's, even the stock market, it's a gamble. Risk big, win big. So,
well, kudos to all of you, especially to Micah included, that you guys are interviewing people and spotlighting people, and you, Nuri, putting indie artists in your booth that wouldn't get a chance. That, I think, is very paramount for pushing our voice and making sure we're heard. Because when you get to a certain stage, and you guys can let me know if you agree with me, I feel like we have a responsibility to pull up and uplift. And I don't know if people did that well before. I'm sure some people did, but I just think we need more of it. I want to see more of it. And I love that you all are taking these opportunities to spotlight people and you're showcasing them. I'm actually enamored. Like, I'm excited to sit with you, Kuya P, on your show and stuff. I'm like, this is how you spread the word. And making sure your voice is heard as people of color is what we have to do, and we can't be silent anymore. And I appreciate everything you guys have said, and I hope that everybody that's listening appreciate it. Wanted to also ask you, and I think you touched on it a little, Nuri, like, we made some small strides with diversity and inclusion in entertainment. So what, if anything, would you all like to see implemented or changed going forward to help us continue a positive progression with our diversity and inclusion? Okay, we'll go with Mark. We'll put you on the spot.
Can you, sorry, repeat that?
Yes, sure. I said we have made some small strides with diversity and inclusion in entertainment. So what, if anything, would you like to see implemented or changed to help continue to progress positively?
I kind of agree with what Micah said. Like, you gotta have a good story first, you know? So just keep on improving your stories. Like, don't force, like, don't try to, I say, force agendas. Focus more on the craft. Just focus on excellence. Just producing art. I mean, that's what it is. It's a skill. As long as you focus on beauty and excellence, people will just generally respond throughout the entire world. Just focus on that, and then I think the rest will follow.
Okay. And now that there are so many ways to get content out, at one point I was like, oh, oversaturated with all this stuff. How do you guys feel the many platforms, the many lanes to get content out is affecting your stories being told or diversity? Do you think it's helping, or do you think it is kind of falling short, or people don't know that you exist, or people are not seeing you because you need to be on the mainstream things? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? So for example, I love all of these new networks that are popping up, and they are open to diverse content, but it's not a large following. It's not, they don't have a lot of subs. So do you think that is hurting or helping? Because they are getting their stories out and somebody else is seeing it, but it's not necessarily making it to the Netflixes and the Disneys and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just about for it, but at the same time, you don't really need to, right? You don't need to have it. Like, you just need to build your own community, however way you do it, right? So like, you can build a following that way. And then sort of like to answer your question before about like advice, I always just tell people when they're wanting to get into the arts of any kind, it's just like give yourself room to suck for a little bit. It's just like what is it, Jake from Adventure Time? That I use that quote all the time. It's just like, sucking at something is the first step into being okay at something, right? So, but yeah, just give yourself room. Like, just put your head down and just work on making good content, and eventually someone will find you. Is basically what it said, and it's the same thing with social medias, and it's exhausting. I gripe about social media all the time. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And then then they just started one called Our Artful, and I'm just like, no, man, I'm just so tired. But you just build a community in one of those places, and you get a following, and you can make a living. You can do all right.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out here. I've run into a lot of content creators or people that's doing what we do, and they feel overwhelmed because you're pulled in so many different directions, and you're told to get on this platform or get in this lane. And sometimes it's spreading your artistic bandwidth too thin, in my opinion. But other times, it's great to kind of plant seeds in a variety of places and see what you shake out. I don't know. I don't have a sure shot way. What has worked for me personally is, luckily I've been always eccentric and out there, so I don't get a chance to hide in the crowd. I don't get a chance to hide at the office. As soon as I walk in the door, something about me stands out. So I get to kind of walk that path because it's expected of me. It's not always welcome. It's not always rewarded, but I am kind of happy that I never get to hide. If I'm there, I'm already the loud voice. I'm the loud energy in the room. So it's been kind of a plus and a curse, but I enjoy it because it's who I am. So you guys have been awesome. I know we're wrapping up. I don't want to go too far over. I want to give everybody a chance to give some last words and tell all the viewers where they can find you, and if you have some new projects that you're working on that you want to kind of push out there. And we'll start with you, Viet.
All right. Yeah, I'm at Comedian Viet on all the social medias, and I'm mostly my main focus right now is I'm on Twitch every Tuesdays and Sunday nights, where I work on my commissions and work on custom toys and stuff like that, like on stream, and people can watch, and we just kind of hang out.
Oh, cool. We get to watch you actually making toys?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Okay. I want your Twitch. Your Twitch. I want to see that.
Yep. Twitch.tv/Comedian Viet.
Okay. Awesome. And Mog?
Mine's pretty simple. Mog Park, Facebook, Instagram. And every Sunday on Facebook, around like evening time, I do a live, just like Viet. I just do a live painting or a live drawing session. So just come say hi.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what is some of your favorite stuff to draw? Because I want to see some of your illustrations. I'm like, really, it's a skill I don't have, so I'm enamored with it. So forgive me if I'm just like starry-eyed, but I love that skill set.
I can show you a recent cover I finished that's gonna premiere on mid-May, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Hold on, let me share a screen, yeah?
Okay, let's do it. This is exciting. We get to get a preview. And while we're waiting on her, Cool Your P, you can let people know where to find you.
All right. Thank you again for this wonderful panel. I just want to tell the people out there that are watching, man, believe in yourself, because the biggest thing holding all of us back is ourselves. You are greater than that. Trust and believe. Knowing that you are more than what people are telling you are, because like I said, I was bullied, and I had to just know that there was something a greater purpose. So believe in yourself, and then just celebrate it, and then keep it moving. Yeah, and if you ever have any questions and you want to hit me up and all of that, you can follow me at Strange Since 1977 as well as at Temple Far East. One of those is Twitter, one of those is IG. At the Nerds of Color on everything, where we give you pop culture from the POC perspective and repping for that. Also at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world, and at Show Pal Show, where I rep Filipinx culture and what we're doing in various fields of industry. But yeah, that's me, and I love y'all, man. We got to just show love and support each other, and that's how we're gonna overcome this adversity and show that diversity is beautiful. And look at that dopeness!
Wow,
Mark Park killing it.
Mog, good God, I love it.
All right.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about it, if you can, or what is it for? You said it's a cover that you just did.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I had myself on mute. So this is a cover for Spectres and Savanian. It's loosely themed by the tarot card, the Tower. That's why you see the tower crumbling down here.
Okay.
And it's a mashup of Egyptian, Native American, and some Indian / Western occult. So this is just borderless. Okay, so this is a borderless version. And in Native America, which is really interesting, the owl is considered demonic. It's very bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the borderless version. And then this is the border version. So the true meaning of all of that symbolism in the tarot is like all coming in together. You can see like the card Tower is actually a very bad card. It's worse than death, actually, the meaning. So all the bad things that could happen to you, like accident, like just the end. So there are plenty of symbolism going on, but this is just, yeah, one of the cover arts I just finished. So look out for this on mid-May. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you,
Wow,
guys.
we got a preview. I'm excited. Okay, Lee, where can we find you? What can we see you in? What's coming up for you?
You can catch me at LC Shorten on Instagram, Twitter, although I'm mainly on Twitter. And then I got a show on FX at the moment called Cake, the newest season of Cake. I got a narrative podcast, if you like that kind of thing. It's the new thing from the guys who did Limetown called Shipworm. And sometime in the next 12 months, there's a movie coming out on Apple called Swan Song with Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris and Glenn Close. So I'm pretty psyched for that. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. All right, Micah.
You can mostly find me on Twitter, Micah Azam Khan, and I'm on Instagram as well. And if anybody is looking for any last bit of advice, I would say when you're first starting off in this kind of journey of filmmaking, it's easy to be caught imitating. It's okay. It's okay if you're imitating for a little bit, but understand why you like those things, and you'll start to figure out who you are.
That was really good advice. Thank you. And Nuri?
Well, you can catch me at burningspearcomics.com. That's Burning Spear Comics with an X. You can also catch me through anything going on with the Moana Nui podcast. And definitely come check me out at my YouTube channel, Blunt Force Media.
Okay. Sounds like everybody's doing a lot of stuff. I love it. I am going to follow each and every one of you. So, don't be saying that guy's crazy, because I'm just excited about all this stuff. And Mog, we got that preview. So thank you. Again, I'm a big fan of everybody, but I especially love the stuff that I can't do or that I don't think I can do. So it just really impresses me a lot. And I appreciate everybody coming on today and sharing their stories, and Dana and Moana for having us on to talk about diversity in entertainment. And I'm so happy to see all of these beautiful faces in entertainment, because it wasn't easy for any of us. We had to overcome some stuff. We had to deal with issues from our family and friends telling us how to approach things and what not to say and how to say it. And I commend all of you for your strength, because for you to be sitting here today, you persevered in a lot of amazing ways. So please applaud yourself and thank you, and keep motivating and inspiring people to be seen, be heard, be themselves, and be present. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry. I get on my little soapbox.
One more thing.
Uh-huh.
I had to go back to this, especially since we're doing this, you celebrating the AAPI Heritage Month. I got to go back to Invincibles. Look here now. Asians are strong in this.
Yes.
Sandra Oh, Korean. She's
Yes.
the mother. Steve Yoon from Walking Dead. He's invincible. Man, check
Yes.
that thing out. I'm telling you, it's a lot to process. I think I'm going to have to watch the whole series again. Because it's a lot to process. I'm ready for season 2 right now. They need to start working.
Yeah, we
I'm
almost
gonna-
did. My girlfriend and I almost binged it today. Almost.
Oh,
Then we were like, "Oh, we have to work."
Whoa.
It's so
Margaret
amazing.
Kirkman.
I'm on your team. The menagerie that they have in there, the characters, the fact that they are getting it right with diversity and inclusion, and there's so many people represented. And it's not that they are just tokens. They have a place. The writing's good. The implementation is great. So you're not just saying, oh, they need the one black guy or the one black girl or the one Asian guy. You're actually, this is great. And I cannot agree with you more. So, it's gory though. It's very gory.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. One of my Marine Corps buddies that I served with, he told me, "Hey, you need to see it." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna check it out." Yeah, I got to talk to him. We got to have a discussion because this was pretty powerful. I didn't expect this. Normally, I can watch stuff and I can pretty much predict, okay, this is what they're going to do. I see where this is going. I see the SJW check boxes being checked. Not with this thing. I mean, it blew me away. I was like, boy.
Well, that's good. That means that other people are in the room.
They killed it.
Thinking out the box. That's what I like. All right, cool. Well, thank you again, everyone. Definitely from Nuri, check out Invincible. They should send you a check because you're pushing it. Again, everybody, you are awesome. Please keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to be following you and watching you, and definitely Kuya P and Micah would love to sit down with you guys on your perspective shows and things that you're doing. And hey, so we'll just kick it back to Moana and get this outro going. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.